China's foreign leader Wang Yi lashed out at what he called Taiwan independent separatists. He said that the actions of these so-called separatists contribute to the destruction of peace and stability in Taiwan. Wang added that people who support Taiwan's independence challenge China's sovereignty. China views Taiwan as its own territory, however, Taipei refutes Beijing's claims. Australia has upgraded its ties with Vietnam to comprehensive strategic partnership. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his Vietnamese counterpart Pham Minh Chinh announced this during a joint statement. The partnership will support expanded cooperation on a range of issues. This includes environment and energy, defense and security, and economic engagements. They'll also conduct an annual dialogue on critical minerals. This comes as Australia seeks to diversify its supply chains away from China. Hong Kong has said that it will not ban access to social media apps under the new security law. This comes after a report said that a proposal to ban the apps was raised during the consultation period of the law. However, Hong Kong has denied the report. The government said it'll only go after people who use social media to endanger national security. North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un has called on troops to strengthen war preparations. The order came as Kim inspected the training of troops at a major military operation base yesterday. His tour followed the start of annual combined military drills between the US and South Korean militaries on Monday. In India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Jammu and Kashmir's Srinagar today. This was his first visit to the region since the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. During the visit, the Indian Prime Minister unveiled key diplomatic development projects worth more than 6,400 crore rupees. Three people died after the Yemen-based Houthis attacked a ship in the Gulf of Aden. At least 4 others were injured. The US Central Command has said that the missile also caused significant damage to the ship. The Houthis have been attacking ships in the Red Sea since November last year. However, these are the first fatalities reported since the attacks began. A Russian missile hit Ukraine's port of Odesa yesterday. The strike came as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy and Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis were visiting the port. The missile hit some infrastructure just 500 meters away from the site of the leader's visit. Mitsotakis was on his first visit to the country since Russia's invasion in February 2022. He vowed continued support for Ukraine following the attack. Nikki Haley dropped out of the Republican presidential race yesterday. This leaves Donald Trump as the sole Republican candidate for the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Haley congratulated Trump but stopped short of endorsing him. Meanwhile, top U.S. Senate Republican Mitch McConnell endorsed Donald Trump's run for president. This comes after years of icy relations between the two politicians. At least 3 gunmen opened fire on 8 school students in the U.S. city of Philadelphia. The students, aged between 15 and 17, were shot near a bus station. According to reports, one student sustained 9 gunshot wounds and is in critical condition, while the others are stable. It was the latest in a series of shootings on or near public buses in the city. The authorities say that they are on the lookout for the masked shooters. At least 2 people were killed after a federal police plane crashed in Brazil yesterday. A 3rd crew member was rescued after the accident and taken to a hospital. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the crash. Meanwhile, Brazil's federal police have declared a 3-day mourning period for the victims. A group of protesters rammed down the doors of Mexico's presidential palace yesterday. The protesters knocked the door down using a white pickup truck. That was while President López Obrador was giving his daily morning press conference inside. Police at the scene used tear gas to disperse the group, and barriers were erected to keep the protesters away. The demonstrators were protesting the mysterious disappearance of 43 students in the country in 2014. It's considered one of Mexico's most notorious violent incidents. Argentina's security minister released photos of half-naked prisoners with their hands tied behind their backs. She posted the pictures applauding the governor of Santa Fe for his efforts in controlling crime. The images have drawn both criticism and praise in the country. Many hailed the governor's move. Meanwhile, some rights groups have called this a humiliation for the prisoners. The Dominican Republic has heightened security at its shared border with Haiti. The country has reinforced border surveillance with the transfer of additional personnel and necessary equipment. This comes after the Haitian gang leader, Jimmy Cherizier, also known as Barbecue, warned of a civil war and genocide yesterday. Egypt has secured an $8 billion deal with the International Monetary Fund. This was hours after the country devalued its currency and delivered a 600 basis point rate hike to stabilize the economy. A more flexible exchange rate has been a key demand of the IMF. Egypt's currency has weakened to beyond 50 Egyptian pounds against the US dollar, which is far beyond previous records. Heavy rainfall and severe floods have affected normal life in southern Bolivia. Authorities say that at least 43 people have died due to rainstorms that have battered the country in recent weeks. Streets were flooded after overflowing rivers swamped several areas. Extreme weather conditions have plunged many Bolivian regions into water since February. In Pakistan, heavy snow and rain hit the southwestern province of Baluchistan yesterday. Locals say that such weather was unusual in March when winter is expected to be over. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has announced a relief package for people in the rain-hit areas of Baluchistan. The country's weather agency has predicted more thunderstorms and snowfall over the hilly areas of the province. Ocean temperatures have hit a record high in February this year. This is according to a report by the European Union's Climate Monitor. The report says that the average global sea temperatures reached over 21 degrees Celsius in February. February was also the 9th straight month that recorded historic high temperatures across the planet. Scientists say that the El Nino weather pattern and climate change are fueling the extra heat. The return of the La Nina weather pattern could decrease the risk of record temperatures this year. This is according to the scientists of the EU's Climate Change Service. Scientists say global warming due to the El Nino has been extreme this year. However, a lengthy cooling La Nina over the summer may downplay the extent of warming. Morocco's traditional public bathhouses have been forced to close for 3 days a week. The reason for this shutdown is climate change and a 6-year-long drought. Moroccan residents have been using public baths for centuries. However, little rainfall and hotter temperatures have shrunk the country's largest water reservoirs. This has prompted authorities to cut unnecessary water consumption. Conservationists are concerned about a proposed road project in central Kenya. The road is expected to run through the Aberdare National Park, which is a popular tourist destination in the country. Environmentalists say that the project will disturb Aberdare's ecosystem. They're also worried about the communities that rely on the national park for water. Meanwhile, locals say that the road project will negatively impact their farm produce. On to business and tech news. U.S. lawmakers passed a $460 billion federal government spending bill yesterday. The bill will help fund departments like agriculture, justice, transportation, and housing. It aims to avert a partial government shutdown at the end of the week. Meanwhile, the UK government presented its latest budget yesterday. Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt proposed tax cuts in the new budget. This is the second tax cut announcement by Hunt in 4 months. It'll help save people more than $1,000 a year. This comes ahead of the nation's general election scheduled later this year. Plane maker Boeing has provided the names of employees working on the 737 MAX jet doors at a U.S. safety agency. This was after the firm faced backlash from the U.S. federal safety agency, the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB. Yesterday, the NTSB official said that Boeing had not provided the names of the employees for the agency's ongoing probe. The NTSB is investigating the January 5th mid-air door panel blowout incident involving a 737 MAX 9 jet. A U.S. laboratory, Valicure, has found cancer-causing chemical benzene in some acne removal products. These include brands like Estée Lauder's Clinique, Target's Up, and Reckitt Benckiser's own Clearasil. The U.S. lab has filed a petition with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to recall the products. They're demanding that the FDA conducts an investigation and revises industry guidance for the use of benzene. The Netherlands government is reportedly in talks with chipmaker ASML to keep them within the country. This comes after the firm's CEO expressed his frustration over the government's anti-immigration policies. Following this, the company was reportedly seeking to expand beyond the country. Earlier, the Netherlands had said that it plans to scrap tax cuts provided to highly skilled immigrants. Spain has barred Sam Altman's cryptocurrency project WorldCoin for 3 months. This comes over concerns of data privacy. It has been accused of not providing adequate data and collecting the information of miners. WorldCoin is a cryptocurrency project that scans people's eyeballs and offers them free digital tokens. Apple has blocked Epic Games' new app for iPhone users in Europe. The company has said that the new app violated the company's developer agreement. The app was expected to bring its flagship video game Fortnite back on Apple devices. However, the new move intensifies disputes between the two firms. In 2020, Fortnite was removed from Apple's App Store for violating the firm's in-app payment guidelines. Social media firm X could soon receive payments license in the U.S. states of New York and California. This is according to owner Elon Musk. The payment license would allow X users to send money to other users. Musk has said that the license in California may be approved by next month, while the approval in New York could take a few months. 40 states in the US have asked Meta platforms to crack down on scammers hijacking Facebook and Instagram accounts. In a letter to Meta, the state said that there is a sharp rise in complaints against scammers who access user accounts and change passwords. This enables them to impersonate someone else and commit fraud. The letter added that since 2019, New York has seen a 1,000% surge in such cases. A former Google employee has been arrested in California on the charges of stealing trade secrets. The 38-year-old Chinese national is accused of stealing information about Google's artificial intelligence program. He then allegedly passed on the information to 2 Chinese companies. The software engineer was arrested at his home in California yesterday. Moving on to sports. In cricket, the 5th and final test between India and England kicked off in Dharamshala today. Devdutt Padikkal debuted for India and earned his first test cap. He replaced Rajat Patidar, who sustained an ankle injury during training. Padikkal will have to wait to showcase his batting caliber though, as England won the toss and chose to bat. Players from the England cricket team met the Dalai Lama yesterday. They met the Tibetan spiritual leader at his residence in Dharamshala. 6 players, including Ollie Pope, Johnny Bairstow, were at the gathering. In football, an iconic napkin signed by Lionel Messi when he was a child has gone on show in New York. The famous napkin has Messi's Barcelona contract handwritten in blue ink. The document goes up for auction later this month and is expected to fetch over $380,000. Holders Manchester City cruised into the Champions League quarter-finals yesterday. They secured a comfortable 3-1 victory over FC Copenhagen. Manuel Akanji, Julian Alvarez and Erling Haaland were City's scorers. This was City's 10th consecutive win in the competition. Meanwhile, Real Madrid also qualified for the Champions League quarter-finals. They held off RB Leipzig to a 1-1 draw yesterday in the second leg. Madrid qualified with a 2-1 aggregate, having won the first leg 1-0. In tennis, former world number 1 Rafael Nadal withdrew from the BNP Paribas Open yesterday. He said he's not yet ready to compete at the highest level. Three-time champion Nadal owns a 59-11 record at Indian Wells. Nadal will be replaced by Sumit Nagal in the main draw. Andy Murray advanced to Indian Wells' second round yesterday. He sealed a straightforward 6-3, 6-2 victory over Belgian qualifier David Goffin. Murray was in red-hot form, winning 85% of his first serve points. He will next face Andrei Rublev in the round of 16. In badminton, India's Lakshya Sen won the opening round of the Badminton Open. He had lost the first set 15-21 to Japan's Kanta Tsuneyama, but Sen bounced back to down his Japanese opponent 21-15, 21-3. He will next take on third seed Li Shenfeng in the pre-quarterfinal. World number 1 Chirag Shetty and Satwik Sairaj Ranki Reddy are also through to the second round of the French Open. The star Indian duo brushed off their Malaysian counterparts 21-13, 24-22 in 47 minutes. Satwik and Chirag will face another Malaysian pair next. The medal won by Russian and Belarusian athletes in the Paralympics events in Paris this year won't be recorded in the Games medals table according to the International Paralympic Committee. Athletes from these countries will be competing under neutral uniforms. If a neutral athlete wins gold, the Paralympic anthem will be played. In entertainment news, the 2024 Oscars ceremony is almost here. On the 6th of March, the red carpet for the event was officially unrolled. After last year's champagne-colored experiment, the producers went back to red this year. Lighting equipment and cream-colored curtains were hung for the walk on the red carpet. The ceremony is scheduled to take place on the 10th of this month. Meanwhile, the Oscar ceremony's red carpet will be hosted by actors Vanessa Hudgens and Julianne Hough. This will be Hudgens' third year on the coveted ceremony's red carpet, while Hough will debut this year. The segment will be 30 minutes long, and that will introduce this year's nominees, performers, presenters, and attendees. The show is called Countdown to the Oscars on the Red Carpet Live. Now, coming on to the ones who will hand out the awards for the biggest night in Hollywood, actors like America Ferrera, Ryan Gosling and Anya Taylor-Joy will be presenting this year's awards. They'll be joined by artists like Ariana Grande, Issa Rae and Cynthia Erivo. The previously announced presenters are Zendaya, Al Pacino and Michelle Yeoh. The fans of Zen Mik are crying happy tears after the singer has dropped a teaser for his upcoming album Dusk Till Dawn on Instagram. The release date of the album is yet to be announced. Artists like the Jonas Brothers, Zedd and Mumford & Sons will headline this year's NCAA March Madness Music Festival. The NCAA March Madness is a basketball tournament. The three-day music festival will act as the conclusion of the games. The events will happen next month in the U.S. state of Arizona. According to reports, actor Dakota Johnson and musician Chris Martin are engaged. The Coldplay singer reportedly proposed marriage to Johnson a while ago. However, the couple is yet to announce it officially. Johnson and Martin have reportedly been dating since 2017. Woman Gal Gadot has embraced motherhood for the fourth time. She took to Instagram to share the news of the arrival of her baby girl, Ori. Gadot posted a picture of herself cuddling her newborn in the hospital. Actor Ming Nan has joined the cast of the upcoming Karate Kid film. She'll join the star-studded team of Ben Wang, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. The story will focus on the events that happened decades after the first film in 1984. The film will be released on the 13th of December this year. The period drama Jean Barry will finally release in theatres. The Johnny Depp starrer will debut in theatres on the 2nd of May. Depp plays the role of King Louis XV, who is in a relationship with a working-class woman. The film opened at the Cannes Film Festival last year. Hannah Gutierrez-Reid has been convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Gutierrez-Reid was the weapons handler for the movie Rust. She had loaded a gun used by actor Alec Baldwin for a scene's rehearsal. This had resulted in the death of a cinematographer on the set. Gutierrez-Reid has also been charged with tampering with evidence. She could now face up to 18 months in prison.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.